There is no American socialist patriotism. Real patriotic socialism in the US is when the white man applies to the indigenous for citizenship. Caleb Maupin is of course cozy towards Alexander Dugin, the first public figure enemy of the real patriotic socialists.
The term American socialist patriotism has been thrown around a lot as of late by revisionist Caleb Maupin. To him and his followers, there's a possibility to reconcile the U.S. empire with its current and former crimes with socialism. The idea is simply nonsense. There's no possible way one can be patriotic about the greatest empire of evil that has ever existed and liken it to the liberation of humanity from capitalist oppression. America always was and will always be evil. The idea should be denounced as attempted left-wing populism that would only lead to fascism. What's at the core of this ideology? American identity. The ID pole of Americanism. The idea that there is some great virtue to the American people and its empire. Nothing could be further from the truth. What virtue do they speak of? The long history of genocide, land theft, slavery? All these things that make up the basis for what America is, what it was founded upon, what it was supported on by its very people. Both before and after official declaration of statehood. This exceptionalism is based on a perceived right at the expense of others. Both the black nation and the First Nations population can attest to this. The foundation of America has been a ludicrous belief that the country and its people were given a divine right to exist. Not only that, but to be the example of how others should live. The arrogance of this ideology is astronomical. America has spent centuries forcing themselves on others, exploiting others for their own gain, both domestically and internationally. All of it justified by their perceived superiority and divine mandate. It is time that this reactionary anti-Marxist ideology be destroyed.
The issue with social media is that it has killed free information online. The gap between civil society and the state is increasing. For this reason, as well as many others, we oppose electoralism. Changing the system from within is a worn-out tactic which never works.
How does one reconcile opposing white supremacy, imperialism, slavery, and genocide while saluting the troops in the American flag? For centuries, the red, white, and blue has been nothing but a symbol of those things. It has been the battle flag of the capitalist genocide machine, slaughtering and raping the world. This is what America has always been. This is how the people of the world see it. Why do they see the Confederate flag as a symbol of evil and what has been done in the name of it, but not the American flag, which is done 100 times worse? This is a product of the narrow-minded, Amerocentric, and Western post-Christian exceptionalist thinking. This is the same reason why they denounce the police for their violence, murder, racism, etc., yet are quick to defend the U.S. military personnel. What's the difference? Police murder Americans in the name of capital, while the military kills the global proletariat in the name of capital. If the military doesn't do it to them, then it doesn't matter. The Blue Lives Matter flag has an infinitesimal amount of blood on it compared to the U.S. military, a genocidal machine. You cannot claim to be anti-imperialist and support the imperialist troops.
The attacks on MRN are mostly due to the goal of MRN, which is to platform those in actual struggle. YouTube is hostile to giving voices to the voiceless, as this runs contrary to the market which YouTube favors.
When this American socialist patriotism was announced by Maupin, it was denounced by Marxists that live in the third and second world. Why? Because they've been the victims of the U.S., particularly the Iraqi and Vietnamese communists. Both of them know what American patriotism is, that divine right to tell others how to live. Bombed their country and killed millions of their people. All of it done on the pretext of American patriotism and what it stands for and has always stood for. Maybe their view of the great glorious American patriotism isn't so exceptional. To denounce the police but to support the troops is the epitome of first worldism. Reject those that hurt the American people, but support those who mass murder and prop up America's privileged position in the world. This is nothing less than murderous, self-indulgent hypocrisy.
So if the police continue to operate as death squads and you try and film it to raise awareness, YouTube will show hostility and the majority of YouTube communists will be complacent.
Without question, these same people who demand an end to the Israeli occupation of Palestine, and rightfully so. They recognize that Israel's built upon a foundation of land theft and genocide. Since 1947-48, Palestinians have been systematically murdered and forced off their land by the Israeli Zionist project. The neo-colonial fascist Zionist ideology declared a divine mandate that lesser uncivilized people be removed from their land. This is no different than what the Americas, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, the US did to Native Americans. It should be noted that America has been Israel's greatest ally. Fuck it. Not just the greatest ally, their only unconditional loving friend in this genocidal project. Zionists reject the rights of Palestinian land back the same way American patriots reject the right of First Nations people to have their land back. The state of Israel is actually the 51st state of America. Zionism and Americanism are the same. Both the US and the Zionist state are British proxies which broke off the British power and became independent oppressors. It's the same hypocrisy as with the police and military. Land back to First Nations is rejected as it undermines their interests. They'll denounce Israel's patriotic occupation, but reinforce their own because it serves their interests. It undermines their exceptionalism and manifest destiny. Others should have to give justice, but not them.